dialogue, and unity on the global stage. This has been to the benefit of our citizens as Kenya undertakes its role of a global citizen. Shortly after independence, in 1963, Kenya embarked on a journey to establish herself as a sovereign state and assert her independence on the global stage. Kenya did this by opening its first 6 missions in 1964. These were in Peking, then, which is now currently Beijing, Moscow, then it was the USSR and now Russia. Then we have London, we have Bonn in Germany, Cairo in Egypt, New York for the United Nations, and Paris in France. From this humble beginning, Kenya today has 68 missions spread across the world, championing for the country's interests. These comprise 29 missions in Africa, 16 missions in the Asia and Middle East, 14 in Europe, 5 in Americas, and 1 in the Oceania. This diplomatic footprint also includes our offices in the United Nations capitals of Nairobi, New York, Geneva, and Paris. As a founding member of the Organization of African Unity, now the African Union, Kenya continues to champion African unity, economic integration, and peace. Over the years, Kenya has participated in 43, and I really want to emphasize that, 43 peacekeeping and peace support missions, including Yugoslavia, Cambodia, Iran, East Timor, Western Sahara, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, South Sudan, and more recently, Haiti. This demonstrates our commitment to regional and global stability. Kenya's election to the United Nations Security Council in 2021 for a third time, mara ya tatu, justifies its capacity to shape global governance and advance Africa's voice in multilateral diplomacy. We do not take this for granted. Kenya has played a pivotal role as the global environmental capital. Since 1972, we have hosted the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP, global headquarters. Today, Kenya is home to one of the largest UN duty stations, hosting approximately 20,000 staff operating under the umbrella of the United Nations office in Nairobi. This population of UN staff is set to increase in 2025 as many staff relocate to Nairobi as part of the UN Greater Reforms Plan. The UN has also made significant investments in the country, and as a country, we will soon have a venue that can host a United Nations General Assembly. This is huge and transformative for our country. It is expected that the investment could be close to $400 million US. You will recall that Kenya hosted historic events such as the Third World Conference on Women in 1985, the United Nations Environmental Assembly in 2021, and the inaugural Africa Climate Summit in 2023. These and many others have solidified the country's position as a global hub for diplomacy, international trade, and investment. This December, the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs will mark the 60th anniversary of Kenya's diplomatic journey. This will be a commemoration of Kenya's enduring legacy in peacekeeping, regional leadership, and global diplomacy over these 6 decades. The celebrations will run from November 27th to December 7th, 2024, and will feature a series of activities. In the first instance, the ministry will have its inaugural open day on the 29th of November at the ministry's headquarters car park. That is where we are. We invite members of the public to participate and learn more about the services offered by the ministry. The following week, we expect to host various conferences speaking to diplomacy and foreign policy. These events will be open to the public, and we expect that His Excellency the Head of State, President William Ruto, who is diplomat number 1, to preside over some of the planned activities. There will also be exhibitions open to the public where various partners and organizations will showcase the services that they have rendered to the country over the 60 years. These exhibitions are a great learning opportunity for us who believe that Kenya is not an island. I am sure that there will be plenty of knowledge sharing and excitement. These public events provide an opportunity for all of us to understand the scope of diplomacy as practiced by our foreign service officers. We truly want to make this a foreign affairs machinani week. They will also enable the public to participate, to appreciate the role the citizen plays in the articulation of the country's foreign policy. Further, these events provide a great opportunity for interactions between citizens and the various practitioners of diplomacy. Let me highlight just a few of the events. First, as I have indicated, 29th November is the Ministerial Open Day and public engagement at the ministry's headquarters showcasing departmental activities. On December 2nd, that will be the formal opening ceremony where His Excellency the President will address the nation on these matters at the KICC. We shall then have an exhibition running at KICC, Comesa grounds, from 2nd to 4th. On 3rd December, we will have a tree planting activity at the Ngong Road Forest, and that will be followed by private sector dialogues at KICC. On December 4th, we shall have the Diaspora Conference. Discussions on Kenya's contributions to, on the diaspora of the diaspora's contribution to Kenya's development will feature very, very prominently in this conversation. Then we have the diplomatic conference roundtables scheduled for December 5th at the University of Nairobi, exploring Kenya's foreign policy evolution, peace initiatives, and youth diplomacy. Historical unveiling of, this is on the 6th of December, we shall launch the Foreign Service Academy as a semi-autonomous government agency, and a historical photo gallery will be opened at Uhuru Gardens. The grand finale will be on December 7th in Eldoret, where there is the Eldoret Run for Education cross-country. This is domiciled where we get the top cream of our athletes in that region, but it will be also inviting other Kenyans to participate in this cross-country race. If all goes well, we believe it may be flagged off by His Excellency, the President. As Kenya celebrates its diplomatic achievements, the government and the people renew their commitment to promoting peace, sustainable development, and strengthening partnerships that prioritize shared prosperity. We look ahead with confidence to the next 60 years of Kenya's diplomatic journey, anchored on Kenya's new foreign policy, which has been subjected to extensive stakeholder engagement in the past few weeks. And the ministry invites all stakeholders, including government ministries, departments and agencies, county governments, the Kenyan diaspora, diplomatic missions, private sector partners, civil society, and the public to join in these celebrations. Together, we can reflect our shared history and chart a bold vision for the next chapter of Kenya's diplomatic journey. So, nasema asante, and for our good brothers and sisters in the media, the PS will take some time, maybe introduce the diplomats present here. There are many others who are also in the field, but what is most important is that our foreign diplomacy is driven by these good people that you see here. They have been strong, they have been candid, and they have helped in many different ways to profile Kenya to the position that it is today. And they are also mentoring younger people to take up and move forward. So it is important that we appreciate that. I remember coming across some message of somebody who felled a big tree. And when he struck, he just started getting excited and saying, "Can you see I have felled this big tree?" What he forgot is that there was an axe, and there were other people who held that axe, and they kept on striking at that tree. And then he came at the tail end, and it fell, and he thought he's the one who had done it. That is not true. We are building on the foundation of very many great men and women who have been with us, who have worked, who have toiled, and as far as we know, we will continue, and there will be others to come and continue to move. The other one is the famous shaking bridge, the suspended bridge. There was an occasion the mouse was waiting at the end of the bridge, and the elephant came, and the mouse jumped onto the tail of the elephant and said, "Can we cross together?" because it was scared to cross. So the elephant said, "Come on board, let's go." And they crossed, and because it was a swaying bridge, a floating bridge, as it swayed, they got to the other side, and the mouse told the elephant, when they got to the other side, it was so happy, telling the people, "Did you see how I and the elephant swayed the bridge?" So I'm bringing about these proverbs just to tell you that in all this, it's collective effort. And we should not in any way try and downplay anybody's contribution. We are all together, and Kenya's foreign policy, and indeed Kenya's development, must move as a collective, with all of us pulling together, including you. Because without you, nobody will know what our foreign policy is. So we really need you also as members of the Fourth Estate to help us articulate and convey the correct messages. So we are partners. We are conjoined at the hip. We are together on this one. But thank you so much, and we look forward to you helping us get Kenyans to appreciate and understand our foreign policy as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of this journey. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, PCS. I think PCS, His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary, has articulated the objectives of why we are doing this. We've been on the dance floor of diplomacy for these 60 years. We think we are dancing well. But we are also here to engender what your views are with regard to how we are dancing the dance of diplomacy for Kenya. And so we want to invite questions from the media. Any questions, any comments? You could handle it.
Your Excellency, Prime Cabinet Secretary, PS, allow me to just mention that this event is live, so Kenyans are watching it all over the country, so they hopefully have a better understanding of this diplomatic journey. So would like now to come to the Q&A, and I want to invite members of the press to ask questions. And please, let's start with one round, so you can make a comment, you can make one question, and then we can do a second round. So please be respectful to your colleagues. So let's ask one question, we do one round of answers, and then we go to a second one. Asante. And please, you introduce yourself so that we know who you are.
Thank you very much. My name is Melita Oletenges. I am here for Citizen TV. I have one question, Waziri. Even as we celebrate 60 years and the strides that we've made for the past 60 years in terms of improving our foreign policy, there have been setbacks, and particularly last week we saw the abduction of Ugandan opposition leader Kizza Besigye, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said we are not involved in this. Perhaps what is the status of the investigations, particularly having foreign operatives operating in the country and conducting such an abduction? How are you treating this case? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? And please, if you want to ask a question, come through the back so that we do not block the cameras. Anyone else? Please come over. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Abigail Gishere from Biblia Husema Broadcasting. And my question is, how do you tend to take foreign policy to the people? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Noémie Chalon. I work for Africa Intelligence, a French media outlet, and Kenya will be hosting the Africa France Summit in a year and a half. What are Kenya's main expectations and plans for this event? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Or we could start with the responses, then you go to a second. Thank you.
With the kind permission of the PCS, I will respond to one or two questions. I will respond to the question of how we are taking the foreign policy to Wananchi. Number one, the manner in which the current draft of our foreign policy has been developed over the last 6 months has been very consultative. So we have had meetings with at least 12 major groupings of citizens, ranging from academia, health workers, trade unionists, and a couple of other stakeholders, including parliamentarians. And we have been able to get so many views and perspectives, about the kind of foreign policy that we should have. And so the ultimate document that will be launched on the 2nd is going to be a document that reflects the broad perspectives of Kenyans and truly captures their aspirations. But beyond the launch, our intention is to use the words of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, to take this to mashinani. We intend to undertake county dissemination forums, county dialogue forums on the policy. Secondly, we intend to translate the policy to Swahili, and we will have quite a number of media engagements around the policy, explaining different facets of it so that Wananchi can be able to appreciate what the policy is about. To the question asked by our friend from the French media, Kenya and France enjoys a very robust and positive relationship. As a matter of fact, I think you must have seen that yesterday President Ruto was hosting the State Minister for Francophonie and International Partnerships of France, at which it was announced this partnership around education. Basically, a 35 million euro facility of the French government to support the engineering department of the University of Nairobi in the area of artificial intelligence, so that Kenya's leadership in the area of tech can be sustained. And so the expectations of Kenya with regard to our hosting of the French Africa Summit in March 2026 is that we will be able to showcase how this partnership with France has meant not just to Kenya, but to many African countries. Our expectations would be that these would be an opportunity for people also, especially Africans, and particularly even from the Anglophone Africa, to understand what Paris's new thinking is with regard to critical hot button issues, whether it's climate, whether it's the conversation around global governance, particularly the reform of the international financial and security architecture, whether it's issues of tech, whether it's issues of migration, amongst others. And so this conference that will bring together Francophone Africa, and Paris, will enable us then to have a very robust conversation, and what we hope is that there will also be huge opportunities for investment. We already have quite some French investment in the country. We'd like to crowd in additional investment from France. Thank you very much. I'd like to request the Prime Cabinet Secretary to respond to one or two questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe let me just buttress the issue around the Francophone. One of the most important things, and maybe this is why it's significant, is that the tradition is that if countries that use French as an official language must meet in a French speaking country, that is what has been dogging or holding back integration in Africa. I think we should now go beyond what is an official language of communication, so that whether they are English speaking or French speaking, the idea of greater African integration should be that the meeting should not be confined to the official language that is used in a given country. So we see this as a very positive development, that it is to promote the greater aspect of integration in Africa. Now, Kenya is host to over 800 refugees, 800,000 refugees in Kakuma, in Dadaab, and in several of our urban centers. And indeed, we have a legacy project which is called the Shirika Plan. And the President made reference to it when he addressed us a few days ago on the foreign policy issues. He did talk about our anchor position as a country that hosts refugees. Now, we also want to say that we shall continue playing that role and hosting fellow Africans who are in distress on our soil from time to time until things improve in their respective countries. If they so wish to go back voluntarily, they can do so. But if they don't, they'll continue to be in Kenya. To the specific question of that you asked, I want to state first that Uganda is a strong partner of Kenya, and we want to continue maintaining strong bilateral ties with the country of Uganda and indeed all our other neighbors. So I would like to say that the incident that you refer to should not be used to judge as too harshly on what would be Kenya's outcome or matters of foreign policy. We believe that the issues between us and Uganda, where there are any concerns, will be resolved diplomatically. And that is what we will do at all times. So my response is that we want to continue working with all our neighbors, with all our countries. And it's also important that as much as we are open as a country, we allow a lot of latitude. We also believe that it is important that our friends and our visitors also appreciate that it's important that we maintain good relations with all our partner states. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Prime Cabinet Secretary, there is another question here.
My name is Noel from KTN. I have just a quick one for you, Waziri. Maybe you could just explain to us, a common mwananchi, what does the Kenyan policy doctrine entails?
Thank you. Anyone else? Please come behind him. We don't want.
Naam, kwa majina ni Kennedy Nalianya kutoka Radio Citizen. Swali langu ni hili, ni nini ndio hatma ya wale polisi wetu ambao wako Haiti, hasa ikizingatiwa wakati huu ambapo serikali ya Marekani uongozi umebadilika? Shukrani.
Naam, asante sana waziri. Mimi naitwa Vincent Afande kwa niaba ya Radio Citizen. Ningependa kufahamu kidogo kuhusiana, umekuwa katika mstari wa mbele katika zile shuttle diplomacy kuhakikisha Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga ananyakua kile kiti cha AUC. Wakenya wanapotarajia pengine uchaguzi ni mwakani mwezi wa Februari, labda Wakenya wanatarajia nini ama mikakati ya serikali kuwezesha Raila kupata kiti hicho kimefikia wapi, kwa sababu umekuwa katika mstari wa mbele kupiga kampeni? Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Excellency.
Haya, sijui nianze kwa Kiswahili. Unajua kile ambacho tunasema kwamba tangu tupate uhuru sasa tumefika miaka 60 tangu tuanzishe wizara ama programu yetu ya mambo za nchi za kigeni, na la muhimu kabisa na tutatafsiri kwa Kiswahili kile kitabu ambacho kitatolewa kuhusu sera zetu kwa mambo ya foreign policy. Kile tunataka haswa ni kwamba Wakenya wajue maana ya uhusiano mwema na marafiki zetu. alafu waelewe kwamba huo urafiki ama huo uhusiano unawezesha taifa letu vipi kupata rasilimali za kibiashara, wawekezaji wapya na kadhalika. Vile tunahusiana na mataifa ambayo yanatusaidia kujenga mabarabara, kwa mambo ya elimu, kwa mambo ya utafiti, kwa mambo ya ukulima ambao ni wa kisasa. Kwa hivyo kuna mambo mengi sana ambayo sera za mambo ya foreign policy ni za muhimu sana kwa mwananchi. Kwa hivyo hili ndio litakuwa lengo letu, ili isionekane tu kwamba wale ambao wanahusika na mambo ya nchi za kigeni ni wale ambao tuko hapa. Unajua, mara nyingi watu wanafikiri kwamba kazi ya foreign affairs ni unaingia kwa ndege, unaenda pale, unaonekana labda umesalamia mtu kule, alafu wanasema hawa jamaa hawafanyi chochote, wanasalimiana tu kule nje. Lakini mimi nataka Wakenya waelewe kwamba hawa ndugu zetu, dada, mandugu zetu ambao wako hapa, wakienda kule wanazungumzia mambo ya trade, ya biashara, mambo ya elimu, mambo ya amani, mambo ya kuhakikisha kwamba hatutakuwa na fujo na vita. Ndio kwa sababu tunafanya hivyo. Ikiwa unataka kuzuia vita, usifikiri kwamba ni lazima uwe na bunduki na nini, pana. Hawa pia kwa yale majadiliano ambayo wanafanya, wanazuia visa vingi sana ambavyo vinaweza kuleta utata katika taifa letu. Hilo ni jambo moja. Lako lilikuwa kuhusu Haiti. Kwanza ni vizuri tufahamu kwamba wale wa Kenya ambao wako kule Haiti hawako kule kwa sababu ya taifa la Amerika. Wako kule kwa sababu Jumuiya ya Mataifa, United Nations, ilitoa resolution ya kusema kwamba Haiti inahitaji usaidizi kwa sababu magaidi wanawaangaisha, na sasa mataifa ni lazima yaje mbele yasaidie. Kenya ikajitolea na nchi zingine pia zimejitolea. Kule kuna mataifa kutoka CARICOM, Jamaica na wengine wanataka pia waweke askari zao pale, na Amerika ni moja ambayo inasema inataka kutoa usaidizi kwa vifaa, kwa logistics na kadhalika kusaidia. Na ningependa pia tufahamu kwamba tangu 1964 mpaka sasa ni marais wangapi wa Amerika ambao wamekuweko na wameenda. Kwa hivyo uhusiano wa Kenya na Amerika sio kuhusu rais aliye mamlakani, ni mataifa ambayo yana uhusiano. Sasa yule ambaye amechaguliwa akimaliza muhula wake, si mwingine ataingia. Kwa hivyo uhusiano wetu ni wa kimataifa, sio uhusiano wa kusema ni wa marais peke yake. Nadhani nimekujibu hapo. Kulikuwa na swali la mwisho. Kampeni zinaenda vizuri ndugu yangu. Tumekaza kabisa, kwa sababu tangu tupate uhuru ama tuunde African Union, Kenya haijapata nafasi ya kuona kiongozi pale. Kwa hivyo huu ni wakati mzuri sana, na mimi nataka nikwambie, kwa bara la Afrika, nimetoka Angola jana kwa mambo ya Great Lakes. Ukitaja jina la Raila, wanasema tunamjua huyo, na ni mtu ama kiongozi ambaye anastahili kucheza kwa league ya kusaidia mataifa kwa bara la Afrika kuhusu mambo ya kidiplomasia, mambo ya peace and security na kadhalika. Na Rais Mheshimiwa Ruto amekuwa akitembea sana, amezungumza na marais wengi sana wa mataifa mbalimbali. Mimi nimeongea na wenzangu, hawa ndugu zangu pia wameongea na viongozi mbalimbali katika mataifa tofauti, na tuna matumaini makubwa kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais Ruto ambaye alianzisha hii campaign, tukienda akiongoza delegation yetu mwaka ujao February kule Addis, tutakuwa na matokeo mazuri ya kutangaza kwamba pia naye Raila amechaguliwa kuwa mwenyekiti wa African Union Commission. Na ningependa tu kusihi wa Kenya, tumekuwa na changamoto, propaganda na mambo mengi kuhusu swala hili. Juhudi moja la Wizara ya Foreign Affairs ni kuhakikisha kwamba kama nafasi za kimataifa zinapatikana na watu wanatakikana washike hizo makazi, juhudi moja ambayo tuko nayo ni kuhakikisha kwamba tunafanya campaign, tunatetea wa Kenya wapate nafasi kwa haya mashirika mbalimbali. Isiwe tu tunasikia kwamba nchi fulani mmoja wao ndio wamechaguliwa, nchi fulani mwingine ameteuliwa. Ni lazima tujue kwamba pia na sisi tunatafuta, na kama kuna Mkenya ambaye anastahili na ana uwezo na ujuzi, tumweke mbele, yeye atuongoze pale, ahudumie mataifa, lakini pia aweke jina la Kenya mbele. Kwa hivyo ningependa tu kusihi ndugu zetu na dada zetu, hii mambo ya kurushiana mambo yasiyofaa, nikitumia lugha ya vijana wa siku hizi, hii mambo ya kuchongoana, tuepukane nayo, kwa sababu haya ni mambo mazito. Tukizungumza saa hizi, yule mkubwa wa African Development Bank, yule Adesina, President Adesina wa ADB, muhula wake unaisha. Sasa mataifa yatatoa candidates zao, na watakuwa wakifanya campaign kwa candidate wao ili apate nafasi kuongoza African Development Bank. Sasa sisi kama Kenya, kwa sababu lengo letu tunatafuta hii ya AUC, sasa tutakata tamaa. Wengine watafute hiyo na sisi tulenge gani? Hii ya AUC. Na hiyo ndio mwelekeo katika kazi za maana ama za kimataifa ambazo tunataka tushirikiane. Kwa hivyo ningependa kuambia ndugu zetu wa Kenya, tuangalie Kenya kwanza, tuangazie taifa letu. Na kwa wakati huu, kwa cheo cha AUC, yule Mkenya ambaye anapeperusha bendera yetu ni Raila Odinga. Kwa hivyo tumuunge mkono, tumuombee ili tupate hiyo nafasi. Asante.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much, our friends from the media. This comes to the end of this briefing. And Your Excellency, maybe I should humbly request you to say it is officially now over. We are done with this briefing. And we look forward to continued interaction with the media. So we have Excellency.
Your motorbike riders, outriders. Riders.
Okay.
Labda utuambie unataka kufanya nini? Asante.
Thank you very much. We are the Around Africa on Motorcycle team, and we are a team that, in celebration of this 60th anniversary of diplomacy, many people have taken the flag of Kenya to the top of Africa, but we want to take the flag of Kenya to the corners of the continent of Africa. So we will go to the 4 extreme points of Africa, go around the continent of Africa for the very first time. It's never been done, and we will be the first ones to do it. Kenyan motorcycle riders taking the message of Kenya to the corners of the continent of Africa. It will take 5 months. We'll cover 40,000 kilometers. We'll cover 40 countries in Africa to be able to carry this message of peace and to be able to carry this message of goodwill from this great nation of Kenya to the rest of Africa. So it's an honor and a privilege to be part of this cause together. Thank you. My name is Nick Korir, and we have a team of 7 motorcycle riders, 2 ladies and 5 gentlemen will be part of this adventure. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, riders. Glad to see my friend there. So now, Excellency, with your permission, humbly, we would like to take some photos. And the way we want to do this photo session is we want to start with the big group, and then we peel out. So let's start with the entire staff, or we want to start with this group? Okay. All right, let's start with the riders. Please balance. One person should come to this side just to have a good balance. Thank you. Thank you. Tukimaliza hiyo, all the staff of Foreign Affairs, please come behind the PCS. All staff. All the staff who are here, please join in. All staff of Foreign Affairs who are here. Ata Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, mkiwa hapa, please join in. Staff, musimame hapo nyuma. Okay. So, all staff. Okay. Yeah, please move behind the stairs. Okay, one of the ladies, please move to that side. Okay. We need a good balance. Sawa, tupige hiyo halafu when you are. So it's done. Please, we want to have the